All right, let's talk about something that could totally change how we see childhood. We're going to dive into this amazing model called TRYSYNC. It offers a really powerful new lens for understanding why kids do the things they do. And it all starts with something super simple, letting them play. So let's just jump right in with a massive question. We talk a lot about bad behavior, right? Or we say a child lacks self-control. But what if we've been looking at this completely backwards? What if what we see on the outside is just a signal, a direct, unfiltered message about what's happening on the inside, biologically? And this right here is the absolute heart of the TriSync model. It flips the whole script. The idea is that it's not about fixed traits, like a kid being naughty or impulsive. No, it's about their internal physiological state, how a child feels inside, their heart rate, their sense of safety, all of it. That's what drives how they act. Physiology always comes before behavior. Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, we gotta pop the hood and see how this thing works. We're going to explore what the model calls the TriSync operating system, which is basically a map of our body's internal world. So what is the TriSync model officially? Well, think of a child as this one single integrated system of heart, brain, and body. How well that child can learn, how they connect with other people, how they manage their behavior, everything, and I mean everything, is organized by their internal physiological state. When that internal system feels safe, they can soar. When it feels threatened, they're going to struggle. Simple as that. So this whole system is made up of three parts that are always working together. The first one is the cardio-affective system. This is all about the constant two-way conversation happening between our heart and our brain. It creates our emotional weather, you know? It literally shapes how the world feels from the inside. It's our own personal internal weather report. Then you've got the subcortical system. Now, you can think of this as the body's autopilot. It's the ancient, deep part of our brain that's managing our energy levels, amping us up for action, helping us feel calm, or even hitting the brakes and shutting us down when things get too overwhelming. And here's the kicker. Most of this is happening completely outside of our conscious awareness. And finally, we have the third piece of this puzzle, the cortical system. This is our thinking brain. It's the part responsible for all that high-level stuff, like planning, using language, and reflecting on our choices. But, and this is a huge but, for this part of the brain to come online and work properly, those other two systems have to feel safe and balanced. Because here's the deal. You can't reason with a brain that's stuck in survival mode. It's just not going to happen. And this quote just nails it. This whole idea of just telling kids to have more self-control, it kind of misses the point. The real skill, the one we need to be teaching, is how to recognize and then influence their own internal operating system, or iOS. It's about learning to be a skilled driver of your own biology, not just trying to use willpower to slam on the brakes. Okay, this theory sounds amazing, right? But how do we actually make it practical for kids day to day? Well, let's move on and see how this all gets translated into a set of tools they can really use, which the model cleverly calls regulation gears. And this is where it gets really simple and powerful. It's this four-step loop that takes all that complex neuroscience and makes it doable for a child. Step 1, you just notice what's going on in your body. Is my heart beating fast? Are my hands getting sweaty? Step 2, you name it. I feel all buzzy, or I feel kind of heavy. Step 3, you choose something to do. And step 4, you check back in. Did that help? This isn't just a mental checklist. It's a skill you learn through movement until it becomes second nature. And this is where it gets really fun. Everyday things kids do are reframed as gears they can use to shift their internal state. The run gear, high energy play, is perfect for mobilizing that energy safely. The cycle gear, like walking or scooting, is great for finding a rhythm and resettling. And the swim gear, well, that uses rhythm and breath in the water to create this amazing sense of calm. So you see, they're not just playing. They are literally learning how to drive their own internal system. How cool is that? I just love this way of thinking. The classroom, the playground, they become labs. And it's what we call an asset-based approach. There's no right or wrong answer here. Every kid becomes their own little scientist, figuring out the unique recipe that helps their body feel good. Does running help? Does walking calm them down? That's not a problem to solve. It's valuable data. Okay, so now let's zoom out a little bit, because it's not just about what a child is doing, but where they're doing it. Because it turns out the environment, especially nature, isn't just a backdrop. It's an active partner in all of this. This is so important. Nature isn't just pretty scenery for our games, it's an active participant in our regulation. Think about it. The way the light filters through the trees, the feeling of cool water, the sound of the wind. All of these things are multisensory signals that are constantly talking to and shaping our internal operating system. And you know what's really cool? This isn't just some feel-good theory. It actually lines up perfectly with major national policy. Natural England has this big strategy to get more nature to people, to boost our health, and to help us build connections to the natural world. Well, the TRYSYNC model gives us a real, practical way to actually make that happen for kids. And this takes the whole thing even deeper. By just paying attention to how they feel in different places, kids start to learn about their own essential nature. It's like a kid discovering, hey, you know what? Walking in the woods makes me feel calm, or running by the ocean makes me feel so alive and clear. They start to understand that who they are is deeply tied to the world around them. All right, so in this last section, let's pull all these threads together. Because when you see the connection between our physiology, movement, and the natural world, you start to realize the massive potential this has for a completely integrated approach to how we raise our kids. And this is where you see the sheer brilliance and efficiency of this approach. A single school program built on these ideas can get you 3 policy wins for the price of 1. It hits your education goals for physical skills, it smashes your health and well-being targets by teaching kids about their emotions, and it supports nature recovery by creating a real demand for schools to have access to green spaces. It's a win-win-win. So let's just recap why the TriSync model is such a potential game changer. First, it's not just fluff. It's built on solid, modern neuroscience. Second, it's an asset-based and equitable way of looking at kids that celebrates their differences instead of labeling them as problems. And third, like we just saw, it brilliantly connects the dots between national strategies for health, education, and the environment. And ultimately, this is the beautiful vision it all points to. This isn't just about managing behavior or checking off curriculum boxes. It's about raising a generation of kids who get their own internal world and who feel a powerful sense of belonging in the natural world. I mean, just think about that. A generation of children who are, quite literally, at home in their own skin and at home in nature. So, I want to leave you with this one big question to chew on. Just imagine the possibilities for a second. What if every single school wasn't just a place for learning facts, but a living laboratory for discovering our own nature and our deep connection to the world around us? What would our future look like then?